Hey guys, Father Time. It's 10 o'clock at night. I just get out of bed. I am obsessed with flying this Douglas DC-6 by PMDG. It is, for me, a lot of work. Um, I'm going to start a cold dark airplane in Kennedy and fly over to Bradley. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock here. I got the daylight, 12:42. I'm not ready for a nighttime flight just yet, but I want to show you some of the things where I am. I flew a nice autopilot off flight. I'm having a lot of trouble really getting the autopilot. I'm starting to get it figured out in the GPS. It's a Garmin 430, just getting used to it. But I'm far from proficient. But I thought I'd try to make a video to show you where I am, and maybe it will help you set up a DC-6 flight and using radial engines and some of the things we think about. I've got 7 hours in the airplane. I think it's my 7th flight, and excuses. It's kind of an unforgiving airplane when you stall this, but you get slow in this thing. You can burn engines out. You can hurt yourself in this airplane. You get a 3-man crew. Normally, you have a flight engineer, sits in between the pilots, controls all the power, really from after taxi for takeoff all the way to landing. The pilot takes over for landing. He controls that stuff on final, on takeoff, on cruise, on climb, on final, on descent. And there's a good reason. They've got to set the props for RPM and the throttles for manifold pressure, MEP, to get that pressure just right. It's a lot of work. But we're going to go in here and try to program this thing and make our way over to if you haven't seen this airplane, I'll explain some of it, but let me take you around the cockpit. Look at this. It's pretty intimidating, right? I'm starting to get the layouts of everything. The good thing is Bob and Louie's the flight engineer, Bob's the co-pilot. For those of you who've flown me know Bob does nothing on jets, doesn't help at all. But he's pretty good on this thing. You have to be. And Louie does a lot with the throttles. He doesn't like it when I touch the throttles. But anyway, look at that airplane. I'm just getting used to everything. This is like, for instance, up here, that's the window heat for the icing. Get a lot of icing in this thing. This is the airfoil heating, the prop icing. This is all the icing stuff, controlling your icing, your temperatures, all your fuel quantities, your aux tanks. This is all your starting panels. You get to where you kind of know where everything is after a while. But this is superchargers up here, which you'll find out about that sometime later. Lighting's all over the airplane. There's lighting, rheostats everywhere. PMDG has made some compensation for that to make it easier for you. Down here, that's your flap handle, your gear handle. These are your manifolds. Let me see if I can get you down there. Which one is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, these are where the flight engineer sits. Landing gear, flaps. These are your carburetor heats. These are your manifold pressure for each engine. This is your autopilot master switch. This is your autopilot panel. There's just stuff. Oh, this is a radio panel that we don't use, because the one that we do use is up here. We use this Garmin GPS. You have two options to either put it on GPS or you can put it on radios. Just have two radios. I already did a flight with that. I'm going to try to use the GPS on this one. These are your cowl flaps. Open and close them. If you look outside, these are your cowl flaps on the engines. Keeps the engines either cool, giving them more air. But anyway, or less. And I am not going to pretend that I'm an instructor on this thing, guys. As a matter of fact, just the opposite. I really am going to do stream of consciousness presentation here with the hope that you'll help me, and I'll show you where I am. But you might find it interesting to watch me struggle and try to get everything down. Anyway, beauty of this airplane. There's a couple of beautiful things about this airplane. Oh, this is the Kennedy package here. If you haven't seen it, let me see here. Fly around a little bit for you. I did this the other day, but this is Terminal 8, where I spent 36 years with American Airlines, retired as a 777 captain. You can even go on in the terminal if you wanted to. Look around. This is the bridge that goes under the ramp to the other side. Go down some stairs. These are some of the gates. Pretty cool, huh? Yep, the old TWA terminal. That's the tower. Want to see something really neat. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Come back on here. Flying around Kennedy Airport. This is the old TWA terminal. We'll take a look at that. Then we'll go up in the tower. I've got the drone on kind of a slow mode here. So this was the TWA terminal that they've turned into a hotel. It's kind of sad because that's the two hotel towers there. That's the entrance to what used to be the terminal. Looked like a George Jetson. I'm a 65-year-old recent retiree. September 3rd, 2023. Today's the 27th. This old Connie. We threw in Delta and United flew DC-6s, and TWA threw this Connie. Beautiful airplane. So it's kind of ironic that that's there because this is a 1948 airplane, 1950s airplane originally built for the military. So when you go in this terminal, it looks just like an airport with lounges, even the ticket counter downstairs looks like a jet bridge ticket counter. Where is it? It's over there. It's over there somewhere. Anyway, I digress. Why don't we go over the tower? Take a look there, then we'll go back in the airplane. Just a magnificent package here for Kennedy. Takes up a lot of frames per second though, so it can make your presentations a little skippy. Hi guys, Father Time here. Pretty cool, huh? It's the Kennedy Tower. Yeah, not bad, not bad. International terminal. But hey, you know what? Let's go back in the cockpit. Just wanted to show you around a little bit there. GSX doesn't work on this this airplane, so we're going to go over here. Going to call up the by pushing this button, GPS. Do some fun things here. First thing, let's get our fuel on board. If you hold it over here, if you hold it here, it goes by tens. Over here, it goes by hundreds. I think we're supposed to have 6,000 on board, 5 point something. So that's close enough. Yeah, 5.5. Passengers, I think they said 42. 52, that's good. Cargo, I think they said 2,000. We'll put 3. As long as you're below 87, you can use a TO dry. They have water injection capability on this as well. That's plenty of power. We'll do the ramp manager. Chalks will leave in. We'll get some doors open here to show you that. Main exit door, main cabin stairs, cargo holds. Now we just opened this door back here. So let's do the stairs. I'll show you inside and outside what that looks like. There they're folding out. There they are. See that? So we got the cargo hold open, the doors. I just think that's just beautiful. They did a beautiful job with this airplane. It's been around for a couple of years. I'm just getting into it. One of my guys flies it a lot, and he asked me to fly with him. And I've been trying to get ready for Cross the Pond and things like that. But yeah, I'd like to take you for a little tour of that airplane. So let me get us over there. Go over to our terminal. We're right on the end there. Right here. Kind of a lonely day here. Let you look around. I did this on a couple of my other videos, DC-6, but for those of you who didn't see it, I'll give you a little tour of this thing. I'm by no means an expert with this drone stuff. Look at that detailing. 2x2 is a galley. Look at this airplane. Isn't that amazing? This would be what business class. Truth is, business class was in the back because it was too noisy up here with the radial engines. Right through here. Hey guys. Anyway. Very cool. Okay. back inside, and let's get on with our flight. Start showing you where I am. So we'll go over to the side again. We got the stuff all opened up. This is the checklist. This is they'll help you with all the checklists. Use it a lot. Maintenance manager. I've done some damage on the airplane, so I'm going to fix them. I'd fix them each flight. It's very realistic. You can end up taking off with kind of a handicap flight. And just so you know, I'm not lying. Get the engine oil quantity serviced. I have 8 hours total of bad flying. In here, you can go stress indicator, see where your engines are anytime during the flight. Probably won't get around to doing that. And in here, you can select whether you're going to use the GNS or the PMDG radios. So right now, as I mentioned, we have the GNS in there. But if you wanted, you could select the PMDG radios. And you can see we got rid of the GPS. It's all radios. But today, we're going to, last trip I used the PMDG radios. Today, PMDG, I'm sorry. Today we're going to use the GNS. Realistic start, no. Be a little hard. Realistic engine damage, yes. Circuit breaker failure, silence the autopilot disconnect, no. Realistic autopilot engage, yes. If you put this on, it will go on no matter what, but it's really important that you kind of know what you're doing. All right. All right, so that's that. Let's get Bob started. The checklist, there's checklists in the PMDG manual. It's 300 pages long, the manual. We're going to have Bob and Louie run the checklist for us. Doing the pre-flight. There's no challenge and response on it. Getting it started. Getting it all lined up.
Completed.
All right, very.
Tested. Oil coolers and cowl flaps. Auto and position. Fuel and fluids. Checked. Pressurization. Set. Manifold and duct pressure. Checked. Radios. Checked. Doors and hatches.
That's done on the outside. We'll get that closed up, guys. Looks like they're doing it all for me. Nice.
Closed. Door warning lights. Out. Gear pins. Removed. 3 on board. Seat belts and pedals. Adjusted. Throttles. Set to idle. Propellers. Forward and 3. Before start checks complete.
So he's brought up, guys, he's brought up the fuel mixture up to auto rich for me. He's getting ready to start. So it's up to us to start the airplane. Let's go in here and try to get it started. That's not much confidence, right? I think I can go one more up. Nope. All right, so the fuel mixture is up. And he's got number 3 selected. The number 3 igniters are selected. Number 3 engine selected. Number 3 boost pumps on. You squeeze these two together like this. And when he counts 12 propellers,
6.
He's going to tell you
9.
That's when you clear to do the boost and prime. Go outside, take a look. So number 3, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start 3, 4, 1, then 2. Back in here, down here, let me see here. So number 3 engine started. You got to bring that number 3 up, then back to get it down below 1,000. Big things you're looking for here. We've got oil pressure. On number 3, this is engine 1, 2, 3, 4. Oil pressure's up. Oil temperature's good. Carb temperature's good. Fuel pressure's good. All right, let's start the next one. So you come back down here. No, it's all the way down here. I'm sorry. And that was number 3. And number 4. all the way up. And come up to the number 4. Ignition to both. You guys may know this, but I want to show you. It helps to see somebody else do it. So I did ignition, both, selector to 4, boost pump on, squeeze these two together at 12 propellers.
3.
That's how many times they go around.
9. 12.
They go the boost and the prime. Number 4 is starting. What do? We come in here, we check the oil pressure, oil temperature, fuel pressure, carb temp, looks good. And we come in and we want to make sure we get this one down below 1,000, bring it up slightly, and you bring it back. Right now we're going to do number 1. Right down here, I'm sorry. Number 1. All right, back up to the overhead. Number 1, number 1, number 1. And number 1, boost pump. Okay, they're all on. Squeeze them together. 12 props.
3. 6. 9. 12.
We boost it, and prime it. Set number 1 started. A little quieter, right? And we want to bring up manifold pressure. Number 2. And do number 1 like that. And we're looking for fuel, oil, temp, pressure. Fuel pressure looks good. Looks good. Start number 2. That's not it. There we go. Number 2. Oh, number 2 on the igniters to both. Selector to 2. Boost pumps on. And they're good. Squeeze them together. Let them count 12 props.
6. 9. 12.
Boost, prime. Back down here. Oil pressure's good. Oil temp's coming up. Carb temp's coming up. Fuel pressure's coming up. On number 2. And on number 2, you want to bring it up. Bring it back so everything's below 10 here. Got 4 successful starts. So what we're going to do now, yeah, everything's clear. And I'm going to come back in here and do the checklist. After start.
Start selected boost pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Plane entry. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Ground power. Removed. After start checks complete.
Alright, so guys. Base camp, blend database. Enter. Okay. I should have done this, but we're going to let the engines warm up. Our initial VOR is 17.7. So we come over here. Let me get this up where you can see it. And I'm going to flail through this to get this done. Alright, so CDI, enter, enter, flight plan. There it is, Deer Park. In here, this will be VHF. We're not going to use any of them. And I'm going to use 17.7. That's Deer Park. That's our initial. It's just going to back it up. We're going to be trying to use GPS. 17.7. And then Madison is next VOR 110.4. 110.4. 4. So that's Deer Park. That's Madison. Now we're going to go into the flight plan. All right. That's JFK. Let's go on the menu. Select departure. We do is just push here. Outside you can see this inside ring outside. Departure. Push. Enter. JFK. Outside the circle. JFK. Enter. Runway 4 left. Enter. No transition. All right, let's see if we can figure the rest of it out. Now we are going to Deer Park, so I'm going to push here in the middle. I'm going to go down to Deer Park. Bradley, rather. I'm going to go menu. I'm just going to see if this works, guys. Arrival. Enter. Nope. So what I have to do is go back. Push. Enter. I got to go all the way down to Bradley. Enter. Menu. And then arrival. Enter. Menu. Select destination airport. Enter. And now, okay, now we can do menu. Now I'm going to go push. I'm going to go flight plan, rather. Menu. Arrival is Deer Park. And it's a Deer Park transition. Enter. So let's take a look at these guys here. Flight plan. Flight plan. Push. That's arrival Deer Park. We're going to go direct Deer Park, Bellet, Briss for the ILS. We could even put in the approach. So now we're going to go outside circle. Approach is inside, outside, right? Select the approach. Enter. ILS to 6. Enter. Radar vectors. Now let's go to Penna. Enter. And enter. Okay, it's loaded. GPS guidance is for monitoring only. Okay. Enter. All right. Here is a switch you can go between VOR or GPS. So what do we have here? We have these are our frequencies for whatever. We'd have those set here. We'd have over on this side we have 17.7 set. We go CDI, VOR com, 17.7, and it should be 14 Madison 110.4. 110.4. So those are the VORs. We're not going to pay attention to these freaks, so we're not going to use them, and the GPS is loaded. All right. Whew. So far, so good. Where are we going? Let's take a look. Go to our Navigraph. Bring it on over. That didn't work out. We're going to Kennedy. Taxi. 9. Here we are, gate 47. We're going to go off on 4 left. We're going to go left on Bravo all the way around to 4 left. All right. That's our plan. And then we're going to make radar vectors on over to Deer Park. And give it a shot. Here we go. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And the way you do this is you can power back, because you can't taxi out of here. So you're gonna. This is a power back switch. This. Come down here. You release the brakes. Get permission to power back. And we power back. That's reverse I just put on. Why are we not moving? Do we still have chocks in? Oh, there we go. Woo! Gonna be off to a slow start. Things about powering back, you got to be real careful. If you hit the brakes, you can end up sitting on your tail. It'll ruin your day, right? We're gonna go out way over here. You don't want to go too fast. Two-bar pushback works here if you need it. So guys, I'm acting like I'm instructing. I'm obviously not qualified. And instead of hitting the brakes, you just want to come out of, you just really want to just come out of reverse by going forward on the throttles. There's our line right there. This. And you come back, start going forward, and that's how you come out of reverse. You do not hit the brakes. All right, American, you're cleared. Left on Bravo, hold short of kilo. Or 4 left. Left on Bravo, short of kilo for American 123. Pretty cool, huh? Now, what didn't we do? We didn't do our after start checklist. We'll do that when we get out here. How are we going to do it? Before takeoff checklist, rather, I'm sorry.
Boost pumps. Boost pumps on low. Fuel selector and crossfeed. Main tanks and crossfeed off.
Don't you love it?
Autopilot and carb heat. Off and cold. Hydraulic system. Down, forward, pressure and quantity checked. Okay. Flaps 20.
Here's the flaps coming down to 20 down here.
Flaps set 20. Windows and turbine. Closed and on. Controls. Gust lock released.
There's the gust lock, guys. If the airplane's not moving, a gust lock needs to be released if the flight controls don't work.
On.
The funny thing is, if you look outside, they'll look like they're moving. When you go to take off, they don't work.
Set. Transponder.
I did it.
On. Landing lights.
Then finish the checklist. We're taxiing kind of fast. No need to be doing this, but we're doing it. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit long in the video, probably a couple of hours, but there aren't many videos out there, start to finish, where guys are kind of explaining what they're doing. PMDG, this airplane's down to around $50 now. It used to be like 70, maybe it's 55. It's kind of on sale. PMDG has set this airplane up so you can do as much or as little as you want. There are guys out there already, PMDG included, made up checklists, so you can run the whole checklist if you want. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point because I've got to start flying the TFDI MD-11 that's coming up. I want to do across the pond. I'll come back and forth to this because I do love it. And it is extremely challenging for me, as you're about to find out. Getting the autopilot to work especially. Situational awareness, cross-check is this big versus this big. I was a T-37 instructor in the Air Force for a while, 5 years. And I had a cross-cockpit big cross-check like that. It's broken down a little bit. I can tell by doing this. All right, so we're going up here short of kilo, we're going out to 4. The truth is, you'd pull over somewhere and do magneto checks for these radial engines. Magneto checks, you get out there, you check the accuracy of your VORs against a placard that be out there. Make sure that you're plus or minus, I forget what it is, 4 degrees. You bring the engines up, turn a magneto on, watch for a little 2% drop or something. Turn it back off, do the next engine, check all your magnetos. PMDG has 20 videos by this guy named Rob. They're excellent. And Into the Blue Simulations has some good DC-6 full flights. And I've watched the Rob videos once all the way through. I've gone back and watched a few of them more than once. Seventh flight. Big thing on the takeoff, guys, I'm going to keep the brakes on. The flight engineer will set, you'll hear him set 30% on the manifold. Right here, manifold pressure 30. And then he'll, when they stabilize, he'll check all the engine instruments. We all will. And then we'll bring them up to 55% or so, on 55 on the manifold, not percent, but 55. Check for reasonableness with the oil pressure, fuel temperatures. Release the brakes and go. Rotate. I have all these PMDG numbers out of the manual I printed out. But today we're going to rotate it this way at 80,000 pounds or so at around 107 knots. Our B1s are about 84, 85 at this weight. A jet, you bring the nose up to 10 to 15 degrees. On this little guy, just basically crack it a couple of degrees. And follow the instructions of the flight engineer and the co-pilot. Bring the gear up when they say they want it up. They'll bring the flaps up for you. Make sure you bring your own gear up when they say it. And when you get to 165 knots, they'll set about 40. So they'll go from 55 on the manifold pressure to like 47 once you're airborne with the gear up, to when you clean, climbing out at 165 knots indicated. They'll do, this is kilo, or cleared across. They'll set 40, and you'll climb out at 40. Truth is, the engineer will be back there constantly adjusting the props and the manifold pressure to get the best BMEP, which is the top gauge right here. Appropriate BMEP. Flight attendants prepare for land, clear across. Flight attendants prepare for takeoff. We'll do the we'll do the takeoff checklist. We'll let them run that for us. Yeah, they have water injections on these things. They'll it increases the max gross weight from like 87 to 102 or something. Quite significant. And we are loaded up with water on our way from Kennedy to Bradley, but we don't need it. It's a 12,000 foot runway, so we don't really need it. Absolutely no need to taxi this fast, obviously. Guys, for situation awareness, when I get on the runway, I've got it in GPS right now. I'm going to put it into VOR and fly on the needle, the #1 needle on the RMDI directly to Deer Park. When I get steady on that, nice and steady on my heading, I'll be hand flying it. I'll go back up to GPS and I'll hit GPS. I just don't trust it to make the turn after takeoff and go to Deer Park. And for SA, I'd like to know better where I am. Like that. All right, we'll go on the runway here. Yeah, we'd pull over here and do the magneto checks. Position and hold. Final's clear. You gotta love this stuff as a pilot. Like I said, I'm not the best at this radial engine stuff. Like I'm maybe the worst, to be honest with you. To say I'm not the best is being generous to myself. Get up here, line up, make sure we got runway heading down there proper. Runway heading here is 044. And this is your actual heading. 044. Alright, now I'm going to go to the GPS. I'm going to go from, oh, it's in VOR lock. In Deer Park set, VOR lock. This is how you go back and forth. GPS, VOR lock. We'll go VOR lock just so I can get us going there. Then I'll come back in here and play with this. A little crooked, I know. Alright, so we're going to go down here and we'll the flight engineers do and the co-pilots who run the takeoff take us dry. I get the brakes, I'm holding them. So they're going to bring up the power to 30 inches on the manifold pressure. These are the RPM. The prop controls the RPM, which is this handle right there. The flight engineer mixes them up, goes back and forth. There's 30. He's checking all the engine instruments. Everything looks stable. Everything's normal.
Cal flaps. Cal flaps. Cal flaps set.
He's
full power, please. Going full power.
And here it comes. The MEP's coming up. Holding the brakes. I'm going to go up right around in this here, the red dot. 52 something. That looks reasonable, right? Let's go. Let's go to Bradley. Center line, right? Center line's your friend. Airspeed's down here, guys. It's 40, 60. Do a cross cockpit acceleration check. Make sure no one left the pitot cover on, right? Staying right on that center line. Is 90, 100, and 107. We can rotate just a couple of degrees. I'll wait for him to call the gear.
Gear up. Gear selected up.
Alright, see, we're only got about 5 degrees no time.
Flaps up. Flaps going up.
And see, there's Deer Park on the #1 needle. Remember Madison's on #2? On #1 needle, actually. So I can start heading over towards the #1 needle. This is your actual course here.
Veto power. Setting meter power, 48 inches, 2600 RPM.
So now we're setting 48. We're at 165 knots. I can bring the nose up. He's probably going to bring it back to 40. Take a look outside. What I'm doing, guys, I'm just heading over towards Deer Park. Trimming it up. Gonna roll out right in here. Go up to the GPS, and I'm going to hit GPS. Come back inside. See, there's the course right there, GPS course. I'm going to try to get a nice pitch and get it nice and trimmed up. There it is, 40 manifold pressure because we hit 165. So if you look down here, that's the distance to Deer Park off the GPS. And I'm just trying to keep this centered. And that's our backup right there. So I'm flying GPS now, although and I got a 090 heading. It looks good, and the course for the GPS is coming across nicely. Now I can go down here. I could turn the autopilot on. I'm not going to do it just yet. Right now we're passing the 2,200. We're going to cruise over at, what did I say, 11,000? Yeah, that'll be good. Go over to 11. Now we're a little bit hot. We're supposed to be climbing at 165. I'll just bring the nose up slightly. And there comes our course. And this will take us all the way from Deer Park to the Deer Park arrival into Bradley. So that's nice. That's how you get it hooked up. I wanted to fly the autopilot. Let's go down here. Let me see. I'm just going to use this. Turn the autopilot switch on and the autopilot engage lever on. And now the autopilot is flying. And if I want to do the course, I go localizer right there, and the autopilot is doing it. So what did I do? I went autopilot switch off, on rather. That's the altitude hold. I'm going to watch my airspeed. It's getting a little high. I'm going to pull the nose up just a little bit because my airspeed is getting a little high. And then I turn on the clutch down here, and then when it got on, then I could go localize it. It'll track this course outbound and fly us all the way on the arrival. Now this is tricky. We're right on the course here. It's doing a nice job flying. We're out of 4 for 11. I should turn on the lights over here. Map manager, white lights on. Flood lights on. Okay. You have got to keep an eye on this thing. As a jet pilot, you sit here and you're kind of complacent. All right, we are 13.7 miles from Deer Park. After Deer Park, it's going to go out towards the arrival corridor and fly that arrival route. Yeah, I've gotten real sloppy here and lost control of the airspeed a couple of times. This thing is only flying the course. You are controlling the pitch. It's doing the lateral. You're doing the vertical. And I'm trying to climb out at 165. Airspeed's blinking back a little. You can see we've got a pretty good climb rate going at 40 manifold pressure, around 1,200 feet per minute. But the airspeed's coming down. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go pitch down just a little bit. One click. See if that will hold 165 on the climb out. Yeah, I was getting sloppy. You can't get like obsessed briefing approaches. You really got to keep back on the aircraft. You really do. So we're climbing out. This is 180, 170, 167. That's good enough. Gonna level off at 11, making our radio calls. And it's doing a GPS right there. It tells you GPS. Deer Park's at 8 miles. At that point, expecting a left-hand turn out towards Bellet, and then on to Madison on the Deer Park arrival. Something to be thinking about. It's not too early to be thinking about it. Is how far are we from the field? Because this is a very short flight. There's a flight plan. Push it. You can see from Madison to Briss, which is the IAF, from Deer Park to Briss, it's only 42, 68 miles. 68 miles. So we're not going to have long at cruise altitude. Back to the crush check. Come on. That wasn't very pretty, was it? Sorry you had to see that. I'll tell you, I am very happy because right now we have GPS illuminated here. Right on the course. There's our Madison numbers. It's climbing out nicely. You cannot get complacent. This will get away from you in a hurry. So that's 180, 170, or at 167. Manifold pressure, eventually it's falling off. The flight engineer will be adjusting the props, manifold pressure, and looking for 40, and looking at the BMEP, which is the pressure. Looking at the pressurization. And we got to be careful too on climb out for temperature, because the temperature is 5 degrees. 10 degrees you get icing. So we'll watch out for that. I am bound and determined to level off exactly at 11 and to get altitude hold engaged. That's 9,000 right there. This little hand tells you. So once it gets to 1, that's 10,000. 2 would be 20,000, right? So we got 9 for 10, 9 for 11. Now it's at 167. It's holding it nicely. We're 2 miles away. We're expecting a left-hand turn out towards Bellet. You got to watch it. It's one of those autopilots that you got to fly right along with the airplane. It's starting to get a little slower, so I'm going to go down here. I'm just going to put one more click down on the autopilot so that we don't get slow. And we're coming up out of 10 for 11. You can see we're doing 1,000 feet per minute, so I'll start slowing. There's the turn. Let's look outside. And it's intercepting the arrival corridor out towards Madison, which, hey, happens to be my hometown. And now we see Deer Park is behind us. Let's put Madison on the number 2. Remember I put that, and that's 10 for 11. And we put Madison over here. We'll put that now in the number 1 needle, even though it's a little bit early. I don't like that does it. That's my thing that goes back and forth. Okay, so now I'm going to slow this climb way down. 1 click on the wheel, maybe 2. Here comes the vertical speed. I'll let the aircraft accelerate. Maybe 3. Maybe 4. All right, and I'm hoping all right, there's the vertical speed. Close enough. I know that I hate that. I'm reaching down here, guys. I should get down right on the altitude, right? A little more down right here. Let it come back down to 11. I'm going to let the aircraft accelerate. It's still not descending. Here we go. And there we go. Now I'm going to turn the altitude hold on. That should hold 11. All right, that's good enough on the airspeed. I'm going to come back over here for the, you kind of let it accelerate out to get to really about a 240 cruise. Come back in here and you have the checklist run by the cruise checklist.
Set cruise power, please. Setting cruise power.
Sorry about that. And we're watching, there we are at 11,000. 220 knots. He's bringing the power back to cruise, doing a cruise checklist, making a PA to the people. This is Long Island Sound out here. Take a look at how far we are away. So we're right at 11, 210 knots. That's cool. Let's go back over here. All right, so we got Bellet, Madison. So there's 29 miles. 29 miles plus this is 49. We have 56 miles to the FAF. Let's talk about some math here. 56 miles to the IAF. And at the IAF, we want to be at 3. So we're at 11. So that's 8,000 feet to lose. According to PMDG, you multiply the thousands by 5. So 8,000 feet to lose times 5 is 40. 40 miles. And they say to add another 10 to 15 to get down. So 50. So we're not going to be at cruise altitude very long at all. Because, what did I say? Right now we have 5.6 Briss, 50. We have 52 miles to go to Briss, and I said about 55. So we can start down. That was a short time at cruise altitude, right? Weird. So what I'm going to do is descent check over here. And these guys will set the power for me.
26 inches.
Let them do that. And then I'm going to just start a nice gradual descent and constantly track.
26 inches set. Descent check with
Turn off the altitude hold. And start down.
Instruments. Cross-checked.
Couple of clicks.
Seatbelt signs on.
I don't want to get it diving down. It's 700 feet per minute. That's good. We'll keep an eye on it.
Descent checks are complete.
Right out of 11, going to 3 by Briss. Let's take a look at the approach. Really watching the aircraft. All right, Briss is out here at 3. Henna at 3. Janet at 24, Hummy at 18. We've got 111.1, and I can put that in as a backup. 111.1. 111.1. I have a 111.1 and 058. I can put the course in at 058, although I'm not sure that's necessary. So let's look at the so I've got 110.4 is Madison. Then we go into Briss after that, and that's the ILS course there. Switch it around. We'll have to go to Loke here, and then ILS. All right, so right now we've got Madison, 16 miles. Briss, we are descending nicely. Want to be at Briss at 3. Get down and slow down, okay? Yeah, I'm not happy with this way that's not doing. All right, so there we go. About a 10. And we have 7,000 feet to get down to 3. That's 21 plus 10 to slow down, 31. If we go back in up here again, Madison's at 13. We have 40 miles to go. We're doing good. To Briss. There we go. I guess I have to hold it to get it to go. We'll do another one at 9. I like to do it every 1,000 feet. In Madison, we're going to turn in 12 miles. I think we need to hustle down maybe a little bit more, guys. Couple of clicks there. We do not want to bust that 3,000 by no means. So there's 1,000 feet per minute. 6 times 5, 6,000 feet to lose to get down to 3 is 30. Plus 10 is 40. We've got 10 to Madison. And then Briss is another 27. That's 37. We're doing okay. Maybe another click down. Get it down a little more. Not worried about the speed. Let that go fast as long as we're below 250, below 10. See, it's turning nicely. We're expecting... Oh, what happened to our... Did we lose our GPS? No, we're on GPS. There's our DME. We lost our DME for a second there. They're expecting at Madison a left-hand turn over towards Briss. All right, let's do another 1,000 feet check here. So out of 8,000 going to 3 is 15, plus 10 is 25. And we've got 33 to go. We're doing good. I'd rather get down too early than too late so I can slow down and do the in-range check. What's the in-range check? Right here, in-range check. When we get down to around 3. These guys get the airplane kind of essentially ready for landing. Yeah, I don't know why that's taking so long, guys. Check. That's just view number 1. All right, it ought to be turning here shortly. Take a look outside. Do another check here. So we're going to go out at 7 for 3. That's 4 miles. 4,000 feet times 5 is 20. Plus 10 is 30. And we have Briss about 28. So we're doing good. It's making that big turn over towards Briss now. Doing a good job. I'd rather get down early, and here comes the course. It's going to get a little tricky getting to Briss, isn't it? Because I'm going to have to lead that turn to make sure that we intercept the ILS. Okay, there it is, rolling out on the course. All right, another 1,000 foot check. So we got 6 for 3 is 3,000 feet times 5 is 15, plus 10 is 25. And we've got 25 miles, so we're doing good. I have to level off though at 3. Don't want to mess that up. Just doing a nice job tracking the course. Let's bump ahead here. When we intercept the course, we're going to go from localizer to approach. So we'll activate the Madison VOR on the radial, go to localizer, and we'll intercept the approach course, the localizer course. And then when the glide slope comes down, we'll do the approach course. That's my plan. Doesn't look like it's doing it. I'll do it autopilot off. All right, there it is. 6 for 3. I mean 5 for 3. 2,000 feet is 10, so 20. We're looking for 20, and we've got 20, so we're doing good. Big deal though. I want to get down, level off, and get the autopilot altitude hold on. If not, I'll hand fly it in if I can't get it to do it. I really would like to get the localizer coupled, you know? All right, 4 for 3. It's 1,005.15. We should be 15 miles. And we are 16, so that's good. We'll be able to get down and slow down. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having trouble. I have just a preset view on one of my keys. It's obviously kind of ugly the way it's doing it. Right now, what they have set is 90 BMPE. That's what they set for getting down and slowing down, guys. 90 BMEP. You can start getting the flaps out at 170. And see this little hook right here? That's when you can get landing flaps out if you needed to. But our maneuvering speed is about 125 when we get down there. 107 on final. Across the touchdown at 95 or so. All right, let's get down here. Start shallowing out the descent. Get it down. Maybe we can get it to just do 400 feet per minute. That's good. Maybe even a little less, guys. All right, that was too much. That's okay. Altitude hold is on. See how it does. Brisson 17 miles. So I'm going to do, when we get in a little closer, is I'll take it and get us on an intercept heading to final and try to get the localizer course armed. Airspeed's starting to bleed back nicely. I'm leaving that, the flight engineer's leaving the 90 BMEP. That's in range. Let's do an in-range check.
Cooling turbine. Normal. Fuel booster pumps. On low. Fuel tank selectors. Mains on, crossfeed off. Hydraulic bypass valve. Down. No smoking signs. On. In-range checks complete.
Alright guys, so I'm going to come up here. We're getting in range to the, I hope I don't mess this up. And I'm going to go to, I'm going to come out. I'm just going to go to heading down here. Come out of the course, right? Like that. And I'm going to go heading straight ahead. I'm going to go to GPS. Come out of GPS, go VOR loc. I'm going to turn right a little bit to intercept the course. I hope this works out nicely. Probably about a 030 heading, because we are only, we're getting closer. It's a little more bank. And that gets over here around 030. I'll roll out. Maybe 040. Oh no, I went a little too far left there, guys. I said I was going to roll out on 030, and I didn't. I rolled out on 060. which is going to put us left of the course. Here's a localizer course to live. Come over here left. Right about there would be good. When that course is alive, I'm going to go to localizer. Here comes the localizer course. Go to localizer. Let it fly it. It's doing a nice job. I'm going to go flaps.
Flaps 20. Setting flaps 20.
All right, the localizer's on. I'm looking for the glide slope to come in.
20 flaps set. Mixtures rich, please. Auto rich. Mixtures set. Gear up and down, please. Gear up and down.
I think it's tracking it nicely. Here's the glide slope course. When that starts moving down, I'm going to arm the glide slope.
Gear down and locked. 3 greens. Props. 2400 RPM.
A little more flaps.
2400 RPM set. Cow flaps. Plus 3 degrees. Cow flaps set.
I'm looking for that glide slope to start coming down. Speeds come back. I've taken over the throttles manually. And I think it's 70 on glide slope. Right now it should be 125, 130 knots. Is the glide slope coming down? I'm going to go to approach when it does. It looks like I'm going to about 170 just to maintain a level flight. I've got full flaps and everything. Right, waiting on the glide slope to come down. Just tracking the localizer nicely. Yeah, I got this from not from the PMDG shows, but Into the Blue simulations. Here comes the glide slope. They said it's kind of an abrupt capture on the glide slope when it does capture. Here it comes down now, right? Getting ready with the approach. All right, approach is armed. Is it going to capture? Let's see. 120. Said it's kind of an abrupt capture. Here it is. And there it goes. Fantastic. Throttle's back. I think they said 70% BMP on glide slope. 70 BMP. That seems really low, but that's what they said. So BMP is right up here. I'm setting 70. It looks like it's flying the nav and loc in nicely. What's our minimums? We don't need to know that, actually. Minimums are like 350. I still don't really see the runway out there. Uh, 9.6 DME is Janet, and we're supposed to be at 2,400 feet. That looks good. It's making sense. Guys, 107 is our approach speed. Maybe a little higher than 70 today. It's doing a good job maintaining the glide slope. Next thing, we're looking for Honey at 1,800. Honey is at 6.9 DME. We're at 9.4. After landing, it's a right-hand turn off to Charlie. We'll find our way over to the terminal. Maintaining 107. That's a little slow. That's more like 103. So I'll bump the throttles up a little. It's doing a nice job with the glide slope. Now it's starting to pick up the runway out there. Bradley weather right now, the winds are 360 at 3, so pretty much calm winds. 3003 is the altimeter. 3033, nice high altimeter. All right, it's doing a nice job. I'm very pleased. Honey's at 6.9. We are at 7.7. I'm going to start my recording. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Yeah. Let's not bother. All right, it's doing a nice job. 107. Man, this is sweet. We're passing through 1,500 feet. We are just at Honey, 6.9 DME, 18. At Honey, we're supposed to be 1,800. Glide slope in it. Well, that was at 6.9. We're at 6.3. Right on the glide slope. This is saying glide slope's in op, but it's not. Runway's in sight. Getting a little fast. We're 110. Bring the throttles back a little bit. Try to see if that 70 works. There's 1,000 feet. Field elevation is 173, so we're 800 AFL. On speed, sinking 6. Right on course, right on glide slope, right here. I'm super pleased, guys. Has not been going this well all the time, so I'm figuring this out. Remember, right-hand turn off on Charlie. Cross the threshold. Our touchdown speed's around 95. Should cross the threshold at 107. DH is 373, so we're 200 above. I want to get a real nice landing. I got Volanta going so we can check it out when we land. There's decision altitude at 373. There it is. Autopilot's off. Try not to embarrass myself. Oh, this is going to be sweet. Inside, outside, red over white on the Vazzies, that's good. Drifting a little bit left. Don't get low. Center line, center line, center line. Throttle's idle. Ah, not my best landing. Well, actually it is. It is my best landing. What am I kidding? In the reverse. Wow. Get off here. Permission to use the runway. Sure they give it. And flaps up. After landing checklist. We come back here, guys. After landing checklist. And let's do this view. Let these fellas get us all set. Wow. Wow, that worked out great. I'm really pleased. Used the GPS, the ILS, coupled it up. Landing, yeah, could have been a lot better. We'll see what Volanta thinks of that, but I'm just going to park out in this area, guys. And I'll do the parking check. We'll call it a day. Well, I am really glad I got out of bed to do this. Looks like we can park right in here, huh? Give it a shot. Too cool. Nice job, PMDG. Honestly. All right, brakes apart. And let's do the shutdown checklist. Parking check.
Parking brake is set. Cut engines.
Let them do it. I don't want to open any doors just yet. All right, looks like they get the engine shut down. Get the front cabin exit. Cargo hold, main cabin exit, main stairs. Lights off. All right, let's go outside. See what we got here. Airplane's all shut down. Pretty cool. Let's take a look at Bradley, shall we? As we make our way off the air, back to bed. A couple of American Airlines, United, a couple of Southwest. Bradley's a pretty small airport. In Connecticut, Hartford, Springfield. I doubt there's any detail in the terminal. All right, guys. That was awesome. Please don't forget to subscribe if you wouldn't mind. That'd be great. Thank you for taking such good care of me. Keep doing it. I really appreciate all that. Nothing without you guys. I really have learned a lot from all of you. Don't forget to join our Discord, subscribe, and join our Discord. All right. Father Time is out. Good night.